who is the president of the European Cyberpol. He's the it's a European cyber that specializes in international affairs, anti-corruption initiatives, trends in cyber fraud, and ensuring that civilian security is promised. You are in for a wonderful treat with Mr. Ricardo Baretsky. The floor is yours, sir. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, everybody. Let me just begin here. Dear honorable ambassadors, political dignitaries, and worldwide internet users currently watching. First of all, allow me to begin to say Cyberpol is an international organization. By decree, it's the only utility by law monitoring the worldwide internet, essentially the internet worldwide police. Having said that, let me begin with these words. Dura lex sed lex. Latin words for the law is hard, but the law is a law. These are the words that should echo throughout the world of democracy. Dura lex sed lex. However, these are the words often failing or falling on deaf ears. It's unfortunate that our world still did not realize the true meaning of democracy. The failure to understand the crisis of world democracies are not a crisis of man, but the crisis of persistence in the fight for freedom, justice, and fundamental rights. Human persistence to understand the meaning of the effectiveness of a democratic system. Failing to understand this threatens our world of peace and stability. These are the facts. We have seen crime and corruption is often rooted by misleading views of democracy, and having a bird's eye view from my office in Cyberpol, I can truly say to have a true democratic society means freedom, justice, and fundamental rights, and more importantly, a safer environment for our children. This extends to the internet. With cyber crimes reach nearly 1 trillion losses since the beginning of 2020, compared to last year, $480 billion, it's clear that the cyber world is part of our problem. We need to take constructive and pragmatic approach to implementing a sustainable cyber democratic society in all possible ways. This will ensure a safer World Wide Web. Socioeconomic dynamics affects every corner of our process during democratization, as well as social development indirectly and directly. However, with the integration of the internet, our world has grown ever closer than before. These are the facts. The lack of global education in both public and internet sector is problematic in a growing world and society in democratic views, but more important, opens doors for economical crime and corruption. Youth entrepreneurship is a key factor in the cyber world and is what needs to be achieved. Without this, we are lost. One of the main problems of globalization in democracy is the judicial reform. Did you know that some Western countries still have traditional systems and codex laws backdating 200 years or more? It's inconceivable that we have not understood yet the true meaning of the word democracy in a modern day and age. It's inconceivable that we have seen little change since the Dark Ages. These words are not to be ignored, no matter which traditional system is practiced. Thus, in short, we have to look at the facts and the facts only. These are the findings of today. I said during my speech at the forum held by NATO, our world is in a crisis, not a crisis of man, but in the crisis itself. We are witnessing days. Can everybody please be quiet in the background? We are witnessing the day after day, there's a systematic changes on global scale that threatens our world of peace and stability, democratic values and integrity, and more importantly, our justice in law and its purpose in establishment. These are the facts. During 2014, we held the first African Counterterrorism Summit in London, attended by 136 countries, in which I was a chairman for. Cyberpol warned of the looming threats in EU, and let me point out, in particular, the need for globalization on judicial reform. This is the foundation of a democratic world. If we don't understand what is threatening the existence of democracy, we cannot solve the problem. Today we are debating democracy. We can therefore, and we have to understand what is the potential risk, global threats, and geostability that threatens all democracies. Let me say, the combination risk of cyber threats must not be ignored. Freedom of speech is clearly under threat. Recent censoring methods used by Facebook and Twitter undermines the freedom of speech, and above all, your and our and mine freedom of democracy. This cannot and must not be undermined. Doing so will be a gross error in the very near future and threatens our world as we know it, the internet world, the world of our children. With almost 4.57 billion people, active internet users today, registered as from July 2020, encompassing 59% of the global population, it's clear we have reached a tipping point on global scale. The days of border ruling the world is literally over. Do you want to cry? Do you remember WannaCry? Terror funding is still being undermined, in particular the African Union. Corruption and cryptocurrency schemes such as Bitcoin still relies on aiding terror financing. That's well proved, and yet we see a global increase for demand on democratic alliances. It's therefore that we must forge strong partnerships, economical transparency, and judicial reform in our world of today. This will ensure a free, democratic world, and certainly a major step in the right direction for the world, in particularly our new cyber world. The United Nations resolution must not be undermined, but more importantly, the rights to accountability in failure of responding cannot be dismissed by law. I can only confirm that Cyberpol believe a major cyber attack in the future will disrupt global economies and infrastructures. This is imminent to happen. Risk to critical infrastructure such as nuclear stands at #1 on our list. The growing tension therefore must be mitigated in all interests. Fueling it is in nobody's interest. It undermines the legitimacy of all democratic societies. At the same, I can confirm that Cyberpol has officially confirmed that more than 12 billion records has been breached on internet since 2010. Let me spell it out. Everybody has been breached. This brings me to the topic. How do we hack and crack the lies? Let me say it very simple. Root out corruption should be a key factor, in particularly in democratic growing countries. These are the facts ignored by media and many others. Recently, I witnessed a slavery program going on in Middle Africa. Very shocking indeed. If it wasn't for the world of internet, Cyberpol would not have seen this, neither known about it. It's our assessment that the current global climate is predictable and almost certainly reached a point of no return. We need to question what is our priority. We need to act, and we need to act now, not yesterday and not the day before. Let's strengthen our capability, Cyber Command as a whole, and get ready, as we believe we have reached a day zero, a day not to be forgotten in the history. A day unlike any other day, which shall arrive very soon at our doorsteps. Let's for a second focus on the current conflict zones. I've recently participated in defending the children, the victims of terror at the United Nations, in which I'm part of the investigative team. The UN resolutions are clear and can be enforced by rule of law. My message to those in border conflict zones: keep the distance. Keep the distance and cease occupations. Accountability is around the corner. I can assure you. Let's not forget those victims today, as they were also here. I was asked recently, would I run for election in the EU? The answer is simply yes, but let me spell this out. Should I ever run for office, my number one priority will be to set the record straight. I leave it up to you to decide, even if you think I should. We need to reshape the face of our perception before it reshapes us. That's the fact. Ladies and gentlemen, unify and stand together. And be vigilant, and don't forget, we are all collective, the cyber power of Cyberpol. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ricardo Baretsky. Really appreciate your presentation. Just so that we keep Watch Democracy grow, we want to say that we do not endorse any candidate.